Welcome to the deep dive. Ever thought about what happens when you blend, say, high-tech 3D architectural design with something really grounded, like permaculture?
Hmm.
And then you add a layer of real entrepreneurial experience and point it all towards artificial intelligence.
It sounds like quite a mix.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at Frederic Jagiu, that's pronounced Frederic Jagu.
Right.
He's described as a self-taught, really multidisciplinary creative. We're talking over 25 years of experience here, spanning computer graphics, architecture, permaculture, and running businesses.
Yeah, quite the range.
And after 15 years working abroad, he's back in France. His focus now, getting involved in the AI scene that's really buzzing in the Rennes region.
Okay, so specifically Ren.
Specifically Ren. He wants to apply this unique skill set to projects and things like imagery, visual arts, architecture, maybe even immersive training. We've looked through the materials detailing his journey, and it really highlights how these different threads could weave together for AI. So let's get into it.
Sounds good. Where do we start with such a varied path?
Well, I think the logical place is his foundation, that core expertise in imaging and 3D architecture. That seems to be where it all began.
Okay.
He spent a good 15 years, 98 to 2012, working as a 3D visualizer in Paris. And we're not talking small stuff.
Right.
The sources mention complex 3D renderings for big clients, museums, train stations, shopping centers, major projects.
That requires serious technical skill, especially back then.
Absolutely. But here's something I found particularly interesting. He didn't just make static images. He actually developed an interactive game for the Louis Vuitton Foundation.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's different.
Isn't it? It shows he wasn't just rendering. He was thinking about interaction, user experience, real-time stuff within a digital space.
Yeah, that adds another layer entirely. And the tools he used.
Well, mastery of things like 3ds Max and Photoshop, apparently since version 2.5.
Version 2.5. Okay, that's going way back. That tells you something.
It really does. It suggests a fundamental ground-up understanding, not just surface-level use.
Exactly. And, that deep grasp, especially from those early days, it's incredibly relevant for visual AI now.
How so, specifically?
Well, when you learned on those early versions, you were doing a lot more manually. You really had to understand the nuts and bolts, modeling, textures, lighting. It wasn't just sliders and presets.
Right, you had to build it conceptually.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So he likely has this almost intuitive feel for the grammar of 3D space, light, form. These are the very things AI models learn when they're trained on images.
Ah, okay, so it's not just about making pretty pictures like those examples of the tennis club or swimming pool renderings we saw.
Not just that, no. It's about understanding why something looks right. Spatial relationships, composition. I mean, he can probably prompt an AI more effectively, sure, but also critically evaluate the output.
Like spot problems others might miss.
Yeah, or fine-tune things, guide the AI towards a more sophisticated result, because he understands the underlying principles. He gets the why behind the visuals, not just the what's.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like speaking the AI's visual language natively. Okay, so we have this strong foundation in 3D, but then the path takes a very different turn, doesn't it?
This is where it gets really fascinating.
Into permaculture.
Yeah.
From, digital architecture to, well, chickens, apparently.
Right. It seems like a big leap, but maybe it isn't.
So after Paris, he shifts gears dramatically, spends time managing a microfarm in Costa Rica, all based on permaculture ideas.
And permaculture, for anyone listening who isn't familiar, is really about systems thinking, isn't it? Designing ecosystems that are sort of self-sustaining and resilient.
Exactly. Seeing how everything connects soil, water, plants, animals, the whole deal. It's a very holistic way of looking at things.
Very different kind of design challenge.
Totally. And you can see this thinking reflected in the books he self-published in 2023. There's one called Building a Foldable Bamboo Yurt.
Okay. Bamboo yurt.
Yeah. And he designed it using Blender 3D, so there's that link back to his graphic skills,
Right.
but applied to sustainable building. It shows that ingenuity, right? Problem solving with natural materials.
Blending the tech skills with ecological design. Interesting.
Then there's Raising Chickens in Permaculture Without a Coop. Again, it's about ecological practice, integrating animals into a food forest system.
Right.
And he gets really practical in the examples cited, like putting branches down so chickens don't scratch up all the mulch, or using wire mesh to protect plants. It shows real, hands-on, integrated thinking.
Details that come from actual experience, clearly.
Definitely. And maybe the most conceptually interesting one is his version of the Three Little Pigs.
Ooh. How does that connect?
Well, it's framed as a story about resilience, community, and the intelligence you find in living systems, especially when facing big crises like financial or climate issues.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So using narrative to explore those bigger themes of sustainability and
It's
adaptation.
exactly, it's all part of that systems view.
And if you think about it, that kind of holistic systems thinking,
Hmm.
it's incredibly valuable for AI development, especially in areas like sustainability or resource management.
How do you see that connection playing out?
Well, permaculture is fundamentally about optimizing complex, interconnected systems for resilience and efficiency.
Hmm.
AI is often trying to do the same thing, just computationally.
Okay, I see. Like optimizing a city's energy grid or managing water resources.
Precisely. Or predicting ecological shifts for building more resilient infrastructure. Someone like Frederick, who's grappled with these dynamics hands-on designing a yurt, balancing a microfarm ecosystem brings a different perspective.
Not just looking at data points in isolation.
Right. He's more likely to consider the whole system, how changes ripple through it. That ability to connect, 3D design principles with the practicalities of a food forest. It gives him a unique lens for tackling complex, real-world problems using AI.
So the AI solutions might be more grounded, more integrated.
Potentially, yes. More robust and sustainable, not just technically clever. It's about understanding the context of the system you're applying the AI to.
That's a really compelling link between what seem like very different worlds. So, okay, we have the visual expertise, we have the systems thinking from permaculture. What about actually making things happen, especially in a dynamic field like AI and Ren?
Yeah, the execution part.
Well, his background shows a pretty strong entrepreneurial streak too, and a real knack for adaptation.
Okay.
For instance, he co-founded a food truck in Austin, Texas, French Tex Cuisine, which sounds fun. Ran that from 2015 to 2020.
A food truck, that's demanding work.
Totally. And he wasn't just cooking. The sources say he handled communication, branding, marketing, all the startup essentials.
Right, building something from the ground up.
And then after that, 2021 to 2023, he was managing Airbnb bungalows in Costa Rica and also a ranch in the U.S.
So hospitality, logistics, customer service.
Exactly. Demonstrates he can manage operations, deal with people, handle the practical side of running things independently.
And that self-taught aspect you mentioned earlier seems key here too.
It really does. Constantly learning, adapting. Spending 15 years in the U.S. becoming fluent in English, that shows a huge capacity for navigating new environments and picking things up.
And the fact that tech and AI are listed as personal hobbies.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it? It suggests a genuine curiosity and drive, not just adapting because he has to. He's actively interested in this space.
So let's unpack that. Why are these entrepreneurial skills, this adaptability, so critical for the AI field specifically?
Good question. What's your take?
Well, AI isn't a static field, right? It's moving incredibly fast. You need people who aren't just technically skilled, but can also initiate things, pivot when needed, manage uncertainty.
Like running a startup, essentially.
Exactly like running a startup, his experience co-founding the food truck, managing properties independently, it proves he has that autonomy, that leadership potential. He can launch things, manage projects.
Which is vital whether you're creating your own AI venture or leading a team within a larger company.
Absolutely. And his self-taught history and genuine interest in AI, I mean, he's likely not just a passive user of the tools. He's probably driven to really understand them, integrate them, maybe even find new ways to apply them.
That combination seems quite powerful.
It is. That blend of practical, real-world business experience, adaptability, technical grounding, and that sort of holistic systems view, it makes him quite uniquely positioned, I think,
Yeah.
especially for a dynamic innovation hub like Ren.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What we're seeing with Frederick GAGU is this quite rare combination.
Definitely multidisciplinary.
Deep technical skill in imaging and 3D honed over years, then this innovative systems-level thinking from permaculture focused on sustainability, add proven entrepreneurial drive, the ability to manage projects, and this clear capacity for learning and adapting.
So a profile you don't see every day.
Not at all, and his goal now is quite specific. He wants to plug into that Ren innovation ecosystem.
Right. Find the right fit there.
Yeah, looking for employment, maybe collaborators to build a team, or partnerships with local businesses, investors, all focused on applying AI in visual arts, architecture, immersive training, places where his background really sings.
He's clearly looking for a place to leverage that whole unique package.
It seems so. Not just any job, but the right kind of challenge.
Makes sense.
So, as we wrap up, here's something to think about for you listening. What kind of breakthroughs become possible when you genuinely fuse that creative vision, that practical systems thinking, and real entrepreneurial energy,
Mm.
and then amplify it all with the power of AI?
Especially as he seems focused on when aiming towards building a more resilient, more integrated future.
Exactly. What could that intersection truly unlock? Something to ponder.